And now we have the next speaker, who is actually from Finland for a change.
Hello.
On this track. Sauli, are you there and are you ready?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm ready.
Great.
To start. Okay.
So you are talking about traffic, but we also had the mobility track there, and
yes,
that's kind of the theme of the whole thing. So go and start.
Okay, so I'm telling you something about how to develop the traffic ecosystems, and my presentation is connected to this Janne Lautanala's presentation, which was half an hour ago. But let's start. So here's today's agenda: little introductions to Solita and who am I. Then developing the critical traffic ecosystem, some things about that. And let's get then deep dive to the customer case called DigiTraffic and something about building the API strategies then. But I'm Sauli Kukkonen. I work as an API consultant in Solita. My focus is on API architectures, API development and DevOps design. And I was actually working in a Finnish tax admin before, and there we will build APIs, and the usage of those APIs were ranging from tens of thousands to million requests per month. So I know something about scalability too. I have experience of quality assurance, project manager, and product owner and DevOps. So that's my background here. Then something about Solita. So Solita is founded in 1996. It's a Finnish-based company. Currently, we have a little bit over 1,300 experts in 6 countries and 12 cities. And our revenue was 131 million in 2020. And annual growth was 20%. And Solita takes everything from the data design, implementation, and development to the business solutions and help to set up the core enablers in also in technology wise. So then let's go to today's real agenda for developing these traffic ecosystems. So there are 3 tracks. For some reason, my slides seems to be a little weird, but let's try to cope with that. So there's 3 streams in developing those ecosystems that we have been working over 6 years by creating, developing, maintaining, and operating these services. And there are integration stream, data management stream, and data delivery stream. And for example, in integrations, we have created those integrations to multiple data sources. There are different kind of integrations, quite complex ones, help to understand the API capabilities, so how to use the APIs in a business wise and how to create the services upon the APIs. Then help to design the API architecture and governance and realize also the API roadmap, that what kind of things should do first. Then the data management side, creating a format, data model and conversions, build the data quality control and also build the data API infra and application solutions and actual data platform too. On the data delivery side, developing these API-enabled data-driven service concepts, creating open API service concepts, and implementing this API governance, which is important phase, of course, and user management, and build the API maintenance and service support. And everything goes in this constant loop from interface design to mocking, which is also sometimes important phase if the API is complex one, then to implementation, testing, publishing, and managing and operating. So managing and operating is also a continuous process. Okay, if we check a little bit about the ecosystem landscape layers, so one of the Fin traffic goals is to create this kind of information platform to be used by these traffic ecosystem operators, and Digitraffic is one of those services. There are plenty of other services too, for example, like customer and freight data or travel and logistics services and infrastructure information. Digitraffic is belonging into the situational awareness and route planning services. So let's go to the Digitraffic then. So Digitraffic service is an innovation data platform that collects and combines the traffic data from public sector and traffic operators, different kind of systems into this data platform. And Digitraffic APIs provides the open traffic data to different actors like companies, developers, educational institutes, and other users. And currently it contains critical road, marine, and railway data. From the technology and usage point of view, it has over 100 API endpoints in production, and currently over 380 million calls per month, and data is consumed 35 terabytes per month approximately, and hundreds of individual API users. It runs on the AWS Cloud and AWS Gateway. The backend is combination of different technologies from CloudFront, S3, Fargate, SQS, Amazon MQ, and PostgreSQL and Lambda. It's developed with Java and TypeScript, and it's an open source project, so sources are located in GitHub. If we check the service more detailed, the platform is divided in three different kind of API products called road APIs, railway APIs, and marine APIs. The road APIs offers, for example, traffic data, weather camera images, image histories, weather conditions. Railway data APIs offers the timetable, dispatch advices, train locations, and setup of trains. The marine APIs offers the sea warnings, ship locations, and portnet data. Portnet is an external service for the ship containers or something like that. And then if we check the actors, then it's interesting also understand a little bit. The data is collected from sensors, different kind of systems, construction sites, and communities to the Digitraffic platform. And there are offered the data via APIs to the developers, educational institutes, and companies. And the developers are creating the new services to the service users. So it's not Digitraffic that offers the services, but the developers are developing the services upon the APIs. So, and Solita has been a key player in creating and serving these actors in these kind of complex data flow actions. So a little bit way of working then in a project. So we can differ a little bit about the continuous services and development of the new API. So continuous services contains this kind of ongoing monitoring, which alerts if there's some problems in the APIs. Then there's a ticketing system that handles the problems to the correct person, and there's a support line also if there's some customer related problem. There's a certain roles in between the team that how the work is done, and the maintenance and supporting is done according to SLA. The improvement process is continuous, and services are provided using these DevSecOps principles. When we think about developing the new APIs, API backlog is collected from a customer product owner to the Solita product owner and prioritized, and then handled to the development, and the development is also doing the maintenance for the production APIs too. And there's also a customer feedback loop. So development is based on the standards and best practices related to API governance and data transmission and interfaces. New versions of these APIs are produced and improved all the time on the basis of the user feedback, and correct understanding about the customer is needed. So the service design and technical experts are sometimes needed too. So some learnings about this DigiTraffic is that maintaining this critical API service needs time and correct resourcing. So you don't have to underestimate the time and resourcing on those continuous services. You need a good processes and clear roles that how the tickets and alerts are handled and who is doing what. Then when you are developing the new APIs, you need clear customer ownership and understanding about APIs, API use cases, and API data that you want to share with your external customers. The API service needs excellent customer understanding, like I said, and business ownership too. And the continuous customer service needs right tools and processes. So you need to figure out those, and the planning and development should follow the common principles. So let's jump to the little bit learnings. So there's no value without the data delivery to the user. So data is of course the key that you want to share with your customers, and the same applies with the APIs, that if no one is using your APIs, the value of the API is pretty close to zero. So the product teams with end-to-end accountability and responsibility are needed. You need to plan your data extraction and engineering, how to document and how to publish the documents, how to deliver the data to the consumers. Are you using APIs or some other ways? Support and issue management, and how to have this KPI-driven continuous improvement in place. So I think that the same applies with also with the APIs, the same principles, and also you need these KPI-driven measurement of the performance and of the data product too. So how to build the foundation? Then you have the API first strategy based on your needs. Then you create the foundation, and it's driven by customer use cases to build business impact. And you have operating model and target architecture, and you can differ the human, business, and technological parts, like how to build the competencies, how to handle the training, and how to recruit the correct persons, to the roles and responsibilities, to how to recommend the organization design, how to define roles and responsibilities, how to handle the governance, who has the mandate to decide things and do things, and who has the financial model, and who is handling the financials, and is it the local or central governance model that you are building up. Then of course you need to have the target architecture, that kind of architecture principles, how you model your APIs, how you create the application layer API, how to create the integration, and in many cases you cannot or won't use the pure APIs. You can use the different kind of integration methods. You can use the data streams, and hopefully not point to point much anymore, but anyways, those are sometimes needed in a legacy systems too. Then the technical layer, that target platform architecture, and we have presentation today about these technical tools to handle the APIs and how to do those. And then of course the DevOps tool chain that everything should be pretty automated and secure and DevOps DevSecOps like working. So all in all, we collected this kind of 10 commandments of successful API programs. There are 4 streams like digital service level, organizational capability, business API, and this kind of technology stack layer. And if we start to think the API first in business development, and I would say that many organizations today are not in a like API first yet, but still the business needs to understand the importance of APIs and how to create the business value with the APIs, and that is important. Then you need to inspire and build the competencies, being kind of API evangelist in your organization, and then establish the right platform and architecture, so that technical layer. Of course, when you have the technical layer, you have to use the technical layer. So you establish the secure API governance. Then you establish your API team with correct roles. Do you have the product owner, developers, API evangelist? Many options there. And remember that APIs are products. So you remember the API life cycle and when the API is in production and when it dies. And of course, focus is on the developer experience. So developers needs to get the or needs to know how to use the APIs and have the easy access and maybe some kind of self-service. Then you build the API roadmap with your dependencies to the other products and product categories that you offer. And then of course measurement of the success of APIs. So you need to measure that how much the API endpoints are called and used, and then go agile and scale up with your APIs. So those are like these 10 commandments and based on of course industry, but some of our customer cases and of course this DigiTraffic case is following those. So short summary. So first of all, plan your API first strategy, execute it according to principles and API foundation that you have created. Build your capabilities gradually with value-driven and match it to your API-first strategy. Like I showed in that ecosystem build picture that we have these streams that building these gradual steps into the API production and bring the value in each step. It is also important to understand what it needs to run this kind of API service. So sometimes it's forgotten in organizations that they are putting the APIs in the productions, but it's not enough. You have to maintain those and keep those alive and monitor and having the customer feedback loop and so on. So that shouldn't be underestimated, that how much time and resources it could take. Okay, but this was my presentation today. So if you have some questions, I can try to answer.
Yeah, I was trying to see if anybody had any questions. Be ready to get your questions now, but just a few questions of my own. Okay. So do you see that there is any difference between, like, let's say industry or size of an organization, like any kind of signals where the journey to APIs would be different, like characteristics, basically?
Well, I don't know. Maybe in some cases the most difficult thing is that the business understands the importance of the API and how to create the APIs. And I have said this a few times before that the business should own the API. It's not the IT department who owns the APIs, but the business and how to like create that API and what the API is doing for the customer. So that should be like, or that it's quite difficult to say to the business person that, okay, you have to own the APIs right now. And it's what the hell? I'm not technical person. Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes they actually give birth to APIs without even realizing that they have APIs.
Exactly.
It seems. But also I think that, have you seen this, or do you have a solution that sometimes there are some APIs that don't have a clear ownership in one business unit, for example, that you have like shared services? So what's your kind of take on that? Should IT still own them, or should they be invented a business owner?
Those might be sometimes problematic because you don't have clear ownership for the things, and if you know that there is clear ownership, there or the divided ownership is no ownership at all.
Yeah.
So that is a problem, and I would like to still have this model but unfortunately nowadays still the organization don't know how to handle and how to create these APIs, and sometimes it belongs to the IT department. Sorry, IT guys, that I don't want to blame you, but
you take away their toys.
yeah. But for example, the backend integrations should of course belong to the IT or who is doing this kind of backend integrations. But API still and foremost is the like customer interface. I hope that I answered.
I think that's exactly the thing, that you have to just figure out what you're talking about, what level of an API. So Timo has some questions here. How do you take care that data analytics are taken into account right from the beginning, and are you using data and metrics available to improve development on APIs?
Yeah, it should be done, and of course the metrics that you collect from the usage of the APIs are used in improvement. And like I said, the value of the API which is not used is 0. So it should be done according to these principles, and you should understand what you measure also. So that is sometimes a problem that you don't know what you measure, and you're measuring the wrong things. So that needs to be highlighted, and sometimes also the API we speak about the API governance, but it's related to data governance. So data governance should also understand that what they share via APIs to the end customers. So you need some basic rules and measurement also think in a data level too.
Yeah.
And this is somehow missed in a current organization.
I agree. Yeah. I agree, because it's like there's a talk like, how do I, secure, or how do I authenticate with my APIs or authorize them? But then there's like, yes, okay, but who should be accessing this data, and should it be like, written or read or whatever? But I think that the perfect example of, are you measuring the right thing or not is that in one project I remember vividly when, there was like 10% of the API calls in first production run were having errors. And the guys in the team were very smart guys, but they were like, oh, well, it's 10%, we'll deal with it. But actually it was like the same 10% of the customers who couldn't make a purchase at all because they were always blocked. So sometimes you really need to figure out what is the right level of measurement to get to the point.
Exactly.
Hey, thank you, Sauli.
Thank you.
Great presentation. And